What's up, guys? I'm Blake. For those who haven't heard about my last speeches, basically I did both of them on Asherfest, the causes of Asherfest, and just basically everything that went down during it. So, therefore, I'm going to share my story at Asherfest, and hopefully this helps y'all in future references whenever y'all come into situations like this. It doesn't have to just be with a music festival, it can be with any things like that. So if y'all know, Asherfest is Travis Scott's music festival. Travis Scott's a famous rapper. He's my favorite rapper, but he basically holds it every year during November, around the early time of November, late time of October. And it's 2 days long, and he gets some of his best friends, best rappers, and they all just have a show, and Travis Scott performs at the end. So that's the backstory on what the festival is. But basically, back in May, I bought tickets, my friend bought tickets, Gabe, and my other friend Jacob bought tickets, and he ended up not going, Jacob, because he plays baseball at Eunice, so he couldn't go because they had baseball during that time. So we got my friend Kennedy to come with us, and she's a short little thing. She's only about 4'11", 5 foot max. And so we got us three, and we hit the road. The festival ran from November 4th through 6th. So we went on the 3rd to go to Airbnb. We got an Airbnb. It was like $500 for Airbnb for 3 nights, so not bad. But we got it two rooms. One of us slept on the couch. The other two got in the rooms. 2 bathrooms, so it was perfect. So we get there that night. Whatever, we're all excited, and the plan was to go to the festival the first day, go to the festival the second day, and then go out on that second day. Go out, explore the town on that second night. So fast forward a little bit. We go to sleep. We wake up the day of the festival, which is a Friday, so that would be November 4th, and I looked at Travis Scott's Instagram to see if he posted anything about Asherfest, any details and stuff that we need to know. Turns out he dropped 2 new songs. He dropped Escape Plan, which is personally my favorite song, and Mafia, which is another great song. So he dropped those, and literally all morning, that's the only 2 songs I was listening to. You would have thought I was on drugs because I was so excited. It was crazy. And so we called an Uber, and the Uber, we're only about 3 minutes away from the stadium because it was held outside the Texans Stadium, the Houston Texans. And the Uber said it'd be 35 minutes to get there, which was crazy because being 2-3 minutes away from the stadium, I did not think it would take that long. So that just told me right away that this thing was going to be packed to the brim. Because, the tickets sold out in a matter of minutes whenever they came online back in May. And we took the Uber, we got there, we ended up stopping a half mile away from the stadium so we could just walk, so it wouldn't take a long time. And so we did that, and we got back, and we got dropped off, and we ended up walking, like I said, half mile to the stadium. And as soon as we got there, the lines were crazy, and we didn't even really know where to go or had anybody tell us where to go. But we finally got in. We got our vaccine cards checked out, and we got in. But as soon as we got in, we could tell everything was crazy, in terms of how much stuff they had and how many people they had for just a small parking lot. When I'm telling you I couldn't see past 3 people, it was insane. And as soon as we got there, I'd say within 10 minutes, we made friends with a couple people, because my whole friend group that came, we're all social, so we made friends with a couple people, and they instantly offered us drugs. I'm talking, I think it was Molly, I don't know, but obviously we said no because I'm not stupid, so we're not gonna take it. So I knew that was gonna be a reoccurring thing throughout the festival. And then the first performer was Metro Boomin, who's a DJ who produces a lot of Travis Scott's music as well as other rappers, and he ended up not even coming out on stage because he actually OD'd. I think he greened out, which is when he smoked too much marijuana, and so he didn't even make it. But then Mr. T came out, who was the second guest I was supposed to perform, but he just came out first. And that's when you start seeing mosh pits, which are just big old crowds of people jumping up and down, getting hyped to music. And so that ends, and it was insane, even though nobody even knew his songs, but there was still mosh pit for it. So I knew it was about to get even crazier whenever we got to the bigger artists. And after that, we met up with a couple other people that we saw, made friends, got offered drugs again. I think it was just weed this time, but still, I was not good at smoking. And so then we watched a couple rappers perform after that. It was back to back. It was 30-minute sets and a 30-minute break, a 30-minute set. We watched people like Don Toliver, Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch, and all those, and we watched all of them. And it was great, and each one, it kept getting crazier. Each mosh pit, and the crowds were getting crazier. And then after that, we went and bought alcohol and food, because they had a couple vendors around there. So we bought that, and we were sitting eating. I got like nachos or something, I forgot. But we were eating, and I think I saw like 3, 4, 5 people like just pass out, either from dehydration, because it was very hot that day in Houston, being in Texas, or from an overdose. You could just tell whenever they were OD'd. So that was crazy. And then after we ate, we went to Travis Scott's set, because Travis Scott had his own separate stage about like 200 yards away from the main stage. And we got there 2 hours early so we can, be up in front, which we did get really close. And about 30 minutes in, everyone started getting the same idea and pushing in closer and closer and closer, and more people were trying to fight towards the front. So we were getting pushed around left and right. And in that moment, Kennedy really could not move or even breathe. She was so short, and we were around a lot of tall people, because Gabe, my other friend that went, he's 6'4", so he didn't have a problem. I'm only 5'7", so I was like the perfect breakage point, I guess, in terms of I was good. And so Kennedy couldn't do that, so I had to literally push people around her, push people away from her, and make a circle for her. And then she got better. And after that, we had to start crowd surfing people before we came out, because people were just getting overheated and overdrugged, and it was insane. And then Travis comes out, makes his appearance, and everyone goes insane. Obviously, this is 10 times what the people were doing during the other performance, because he was the main guy. And once again, Kenny started to not be able to breathe. It was getting hard for her to breathe, so I literally had to pick her up and have her get air. It was like Lion King, literally. And so I held her hand the whole time just to make sure she didn't go away from me. And we all stayed together, me, her, and Gabe. And luckily, we all got out there together, and no one was hurt. And the show ends, and then we end up going to get burgers, walking straight from there, going to get burgers at this burger joint that stayed open until 4, so it was perfect. And I started getting alerts from Fox News and stuff like that, saying 8 people died from Travis Scott's music festival. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And then we ended up going to sleeping on it. And I get up the next morning with 40 missed calls from my mom, and she was worried sick about me, worrying if I got in trouble or got hurt. And then after that, I saw that day 2 gets canceled, which was the second day of the Travis Scott festival. He was set to perform again with obviously other rappers. And so that got canceled, and obviously Travis was put in a tough spot. Everyone started hating him, and even though he couldn't really do anything to help it, he got all the backlash, and it was just insane. But for the rest of the trip, which was the other 2 days, we played it safe. We just went to the mall that day, and we went to eat at a bagel place, and we also ended up going out that night like we had planned. And it was very fun, so I'm glad we got to do that and experience some of the, the Houston city. So it was a tour day, basically. And then back on that Sunday, we ended up leaving. Around 10 a.m. was our checkout time. So we left, and we were just talking about how crazy it was that stuff really happened. And the one time that we go to anything like this, a music festival, it's the biggest outcome or outburst of that. And we realized whenever more reports started coming out that many people that died because they were overdosed on drugs, mixed in with not being able to breathe and the heat and everything like that. So that's why many people died. And all I thought about back was because that would have been crazy if we had taken drugs that those people offered us, and we could have been in that situation. Who knows? It honestly could have been those people that did offer us the drugs that could have died. It's crazy to think about that way. But luckily, we were all good. None of us did anything in terms of drugs. And so I'm thankful for that. And to recap, basically, I just think it's important to really not take anything, and especially any hard drugs. I know a lot of people smoke weed. I don't personally, but I know a lot of people do, and it helps me relax. But just you can't get addicted to that stuff, because you don't know the times and the weird places that it could come back and bite you in the butt. I guarantee the people that were going were excited to go to Astrofest, and the people that died did not expect that they were going to go out like that. And so that's crazy. And then, stuff like that, in big crowds, just be prepared for the worst. So you just always got to be ready. Like I said, don't take anything if you're going someplace that you're already going to have fun. make sure all your friends are okay, make sure your friends stick with you the whole time, and just be prepared, be hydrated, all that good stuff. So, with that being said, I'm Blake, thank you.